However, you're forgetting about that big giant scam, biggest scam in all of the UK, the leasehold system. Now, the NHBC insurance does apply to leaseholders like myself, but boy, does it make it just a bit more difficult to get anything done. See, leaseholders, we don't own anything. We are leasing the ability to live in the flat under which the freeholder owns the property, and they are not in charge of fixing anything. That is all down to the leaseholders to do all this sort of thing.
So just a quick point on that. The leasehold system in the UK is wild. I mean, I've never really understood it, especially as a new person coming to property. I was like, hold on a sec. So if I buy a flat, because leases are mainly on flats, it's an entitlement to live in it and do a limited amount of things to it. I can't even, add another room to it. I can't refurb it. I can't change a house. I can just live there. I pay the full price for the house. But after 100, 200, however long your lease is, years, it goes back to the freeholder. I've never understood it. Never understood it. It is a conundrum for me. But when you look at the history of leases, if you just do a bit of Google searching, look at this on Wikipedia. The tenancy was essential to the feudal hierarchy after English law prohibited sub-infeudation, the creation of new feudal estates by existing feudal landholders in the 13th century. A lord would own the land and tenants became vassals. The good old English class system. So basically, leases are a carryover from the medieval feudal system. If you don't know about the feudal system in the UK, quick bit of history, basically it was all around land and ownership. So the king and bishops and the aristocracy would own all of the land in the UK back then. And then everyone else, basically vassals, peasants. So the normal people, there'd be a very small proportion of people in the UK who are upper class, royalty, bishops as well, so some people connected to the church, but basically the small upper class would own all the land and everyone else were just tenants and guests on the land. Really messed up system of land ownership in the UK. People would live on the land, but they would pay the owners of the land, those small percentage of landowners, in the form of maybe rents or crops or livestock, and that's just a carryover today. Why it hasn't been abolished today in 2024, modern age, I have no idea, but that is a history. That's why it exists today in the UK.
You see, as a developer, you want to build a tower block, you've got two options. Option one, build a very high quality tower block using the best builders, the best building materials, high quality plumbing and electricity. This way you can front load your costs, and when the building comes into disrepair many years down the line, it won't cost as much to keep it up. However, that's quite expensive, right? That's not going to get you a lot more profits, and it's going to be harder to price that accurately to balance all the profits you want while also building more affordable housing. So why don't you go with option two, the one that most developers that I've seen enact? Option two is genius, really. Use the worst quality building materials you can imagine. Just hire the builders that you can off the cheapest website. Don't even check that they have any credentials. Just bring these people in. In my development, for instance, in my building, at some point, I had the neighbor downstairs come to me like, hey, you have a flood in your house? It's dripping all over my floor. And I was like, oh my God. So I removed the plinth from under my sink and I find some presents. The builders just threw their rubbish in there. They had some meal deals, some leftover croissant. Cool. Thank God I didn't get any rodents, but that's the quality of builders that we've come to expect now in these new build developments. Why pay for quality ones when you can just get these shitty ones that just do whatever they want, hide their mistakes, and nobody really cares about the quality? But Evan, you say, I don't understand. How does that make them more money? Won't they have to then pay to fix all these problems later on? Oh, no.
So, I mean, I can relate to this as well. Where I live in a decent part of London, in a new build development that was built, just 6-7 years ago. But, there are issues all over the development, and you see that coming out of the service charge going up and up and up every year. A lot of additional maintenance to the block that you really wouldn't expect after just 6 or 7 years of a building being built. It should be in better condition. you know, at this stage so soon after it's being built. And of course, we're all paying for it out of our service charge every year.
The leaseholder has to pay. That's why they sold leasehold. That's the whole point of the leasehold scam. You see, as a leaseholder, let's just say you have a complaint about a leak in your ceiling, or about the lifts not working, or about the amenities that you pay for never being available, or about hot water in your development never being available despite the fact that you pay an extreme amount of money to live in this fancy development. You know, standard quality of life things. Well, the developer will be like, oh, so sorry, we totally didn't expect this. Let's call up the Fixie Boys. The Fixie Boys that are actually our own men that we pay from a separate company to make sure that we are basically giving ourselves money.
I mean, that's so true, because when I see a lot of the tradesmen and the workmen who come, you know, in their high-vis jackets and they've got the gear on and they're clearly here to fix something in the development, they've got the brand, the logo of the company that built the bloody development in the first place. So he's exactly so true. They're paying themselves to fix parts of the development that they built out of, you know, poor, low quality materials in the first place. And we're all paying for it. Thank you for watching. This year I'm making a video every month to answer any questions that you have for me. So whether you want to know whether you should invest in a limited company or in your own name, whether you should buy a flat or a house, what is the best way to get started in property, or who my barber is, just let me know. You can ask me in the comment section below, on Instagram, on TikTok, and I'll make a video dedicated to your questions. Like and subscribe, and thanks for watching.